Another thing that I want to talk about on how to keep the balance in flow and a good exercise is expressing that daily gratitude and just how incredibly important it is to focus on the positives. Especially, I was thinking about this as I was driving up because I'm in a current situation, like currently right now with my dad, who's had health issues, and this tends to repeat every 3 years where we end up back in the hospital dealing with some of these things. And it's interesting how it like builds on the past experiences so we can handle it just more as a unit, and we aren't as not emotional, because it's always emotional when someone is facing really hard health issues, but how we kind of come to that place where we have so much gratitude, we express that in such a way, but we also are open to what is. So we're not projecting like what is going to happen, but just looking at all the options and the balance of life and death and what that looks like. And everyone's different. And we've talked about this on other podcast episodes about how dealing with death and walking through grief really should, in our opinion, be more vocalized and talked about, because it is an inevitable, it's like taxes. It's going to fucking happen. Everyone is going to experience death. And, you know, the one thing that for me, it was really interesting because the last time this happened with my father, I hadn't had my spiritual awakening and I hadn't learned a lot of the tools that I now have in my toolbox. It was very evident to me that if his body chose to shut down, inevitably, you know, that could be a possibility at some point, and just is done giving the fight, that this will not be the end of our relationship. Like I knew that. I felt it so deep in my own soul. I mean, he's in my DNA. And so I was like, this is the balance of, I'm not scared for him to die. Mm-hmm. I will be unbelievably sad, which is also why I have no makeup on, because I was too afraid to put makeup on and just cry this whole time. But I've actually not cried at all, which has been a little bit of a shock to me, because I'm usually pretty easily triggered when it comes to crying. So for me, this season of balance, moving into this part of the year, he's currently stable and hopefully he will be discharged from the hospital. It will look different. Our balance of how we embrace him and care for him will look different moving forward. And that's part of where I am and how I can find gratitude in what has been the relationship that we have, and how that will look different and move differently into the future. Yeah. So that's just a little personal segment of where I am and how I'm going to be using this season of balance.
Thank you for sharing that. I know it's hard.
Yeah. Well, the next one was facing the challenges within. That was an area, just another area of focus when you're dealing with the balance of light and dark.
Right. And I think one naturally leads to the other. When we are faced with the idea of the death of someone close, we start to look at our own lives as well under a much different looking microscope.
Sure. Absolutely.
And not that we're making comparisons by any means, but you certainly start to look at your life and be like, okay, do I want to make some adjustments to how I'm showing up for myself?
Yep.
Because inevitably, you know, the relationship that we have with ourselves is the longest and most important.
It is. And it's the true constant.
Right.
The true constant.
Right.
You wake up, you go to sleep with yourself.
Right.
Every single day.
Again, it's not about perfection.
God, no.
It's about those graceful adjustments that we make every single day on the fly, and that like temperature check-in. Right. And then when we do get too kind of out of balance or out of whack, then it's like, oh, I haven't checked in here for a hot minute.
Yep.
And then you start to see the repercussions of that happen.
Yep.
And that's not just physically, like that's emotionally and
it's all, it's mental, it's spiritual, it's all of those, that mind, body, and soul that does come to make